I do social media, so I get all my information off Bleacher Report. I read an article today.
You read something?
I did.
Okay.
If you work with a damn idiot, they'll buy you out.
When you're doing the job that we have to do and you state facts, can't have a problem with that. Only problem I have with what Shannon said, yes, Will did average 50 and do all that, but he only got 2 championships. He didn't get double and quadruple team. And this is why I wish I didn't get hurt that last year, because I wanted to pass Wilt Chamberlain up in points. So you got Kareem, 1, you got Wilt, 2, you got me, 3. I don't have a problem with being number 3. And I think that category, the MDE, I still think it belongs to me.
But apparently, if you work with a damn idiot, they'll buy you out. Okay. So I just want y'all to know, I'm open to the buyout.
The company can't afford the buyout.
I didn't know it was that easy.
I've never had a buyout. You hear about them from time to time. Yeah. I wouldn't know.
I saw it on Bleacher Report. It's got to be true.
Got to be true. I want to get thoughts on Game 2.
This isn't just NBA commentary anymore. This is war. Charles Barkley's rising. Shannon Sharpe fading into the shadows. And behind the cameras, there's a whole power struggle going down. Allegations, leaks, backdoor plays. Let's pull back the curtain and talk about what's really going on at ESPN. Let's rewind to the part where things looked normal. Charles Barkley, the unfiltered icon of inside the NBA, starts popping up more on ESPN. Cool, right? Just a crossover, maybe a guest spot or 2. Meanwhile, Shannon Sharpe, fresh off Undisputed, is making his own moves. TV hits, podcast plays, and social media buzz. At first glance, it looked like 2 stars simply carving their own lanes. But behind the scenes, something else was brewing. Because suddenly Barkley wasn't just a guest. He was everywhere. Analyst segments, interview panels, even whispers about him replacing ESPN's entire NBA setup. And Shannon, he started fading. Fewer appearances, less promotion, more rumors. You could feel the shift in energy. Barkley was rising like a rocket. And Shannon? Well, his spotlight was starting to flicker. Then came the leaks, then the lawsuit, then the chatter. Shannon's career is stalling. Barkley's got the juice now. What looked like a simple reshuffling was actually a power pivot. A baton pass? Not quite. This was ESPN rebuilding its throne. And Charles Barkley was sitting on it. The question is, did Shannon see it coming? And worse, did he try to stop it? Here's where things stop being subtle and start getting scorched. Behind all the sports banter, the smiles on set, and the social media clips, a storm was brewing. And it had Shannon Sharpe's fingerprints all over it. Word on the street? Shannon allegedly tried to block Charles Barkley's ESPN deal from the jump. That's right. Sources say while Barkley was negotiating his new role, Shannon was moving in the shadows. Whispers to higher-ups, back-channel calls, strategic shade. The goal? Stop the Chuck takeover before it started. Why? Because at the same time, Shannon's world was cracking. His $100 million contract talks were stalling.
You can't control your anger, man, like you about to lose it, man. And I don't know if y'all got my boy Shannon stressed out right now, and he going through all this. He had the $100 million deal sitting on the table. I don't know if he's still going through with that deal. He losing a lot of his sponsorships. I remember I used to watch his show on the nightcap, and he would talk about a lot of sponsorships that he was getting, and he would do the advertisement in the show, you know what I'm saying? Things in the background, advertising, all kind of things. Now, lately, he haven't been doing none of that. I know a lot of people gonna bag up from him, you know what I'm saying? When you get caught in a situation like this where, you know, you can affect their money, you know, it's a bad look, you know what I'm saying? How everybody's looking at you. Sponsorships are gonna step away, you know what I'm saying? And I think Shannon is strong enough. He done made enough money where it's not gonna bother him. But everything where he was going to, like, the heights he was going to, it had kind of been stopped.
His name was popping up in headlines for all the wrong reasons. A lawsuit, an IG Live mishap, and execs starting to question if Sharpe was still the guy.
First thing you said, $100 million, now they want 50 out of nowhere. But you know, when you sue for 50, you don't really want 50. You take about 23, 20, 24, you go for the high number so you can settle out for what you really want. That's first and foremost.
So what does he do? Allegedly, he tried to play defense by going on offense, feeding ESPN some old dirt on Barkley, hoping it would slow the train down. But here's the twist. That dirt, it wasn't even old. It was fresh, already public, already shrugged off by fans. And ESPN, they didn't flinch. Instead of pulling back from Barkley, they leaned in hard. They gave him more visibility, more control, and even let him take shots at their own network on air and said nothing. No fines, no suspensions, not even a slap on the wrist. So now, the narrative flipped. Shannon looked like the one panicking, desperate, throwing haymakers backstage while Barkley was laughing in the front row. And the fans noticed. Suddenly, it wasn't Shannon versus Chuck anymore. It was Shannon versus himself. And in the world of high-stakes media politics, that kind of misstep can cost you everything. While Shannon was scrambling to keep his seat, Charles was locking in power plays. Forget the ESPN grind. Chuck said, "I'm not breaking my back like Stephen A." And ESPN still gave him the throne. Prime coverage, creative freedom, no leash, no limits.
When you're doing the job that we have to do and you state facts, can't have a problem with that. Only problem I have with what Shannon said, yes, Will did average 50 and do all that, but he only got 2 championships. He didn't get double and quadruple team. And this is why I wish I didn't get hurt that last year, because I wanted to pass Wilt Chamberlain up in points. So you got Kareem, 1, you got Wilt, 2, you got me, 3. I don't have a problem with being number 3. And I think that category, the MDE, I still think it belongs to me.
Most dominant ever.
But people have their opinions. He stated facts behind his opinions. I have no problem with that. He was doing his job. You know, you talk about the numbers. Wilt numbers are better than mine. I do have more championships, so I have no problem with being number 3. To be able to be mentioned with those names, I'm happy. And Shannon, Sharpe, thank you for putting me number 3. I appreciate it very much.
Meanwhile, Sharpe was getting hit left and right. A $50 million lawsuit, an Instagram Live fail, and rumors that he tried to feed ESPN some old dirt on Barkley.
I'm not taking no job, and I know how, number one, the most important thing is how much I'm going to work. That's been my biggest gripe, to be honest with you. Like, well, how much am I going to work? I mean, the notion that I'm gonna work more as I get older, that's just not.
Spoiler, it didn't land. If anything, it backfired. Let's be real. ESPN loves a star. They don't care if you throw shade, just as long as you bring in views. Barkley speaks his mind. He says ESPN's gonna ruin the vibe of Inside the NBA on their own network. And what do? Nothing. They smile, hand him more control, and make him the face of NBA coverage. Chuck's not just coming alone either. Shaq, Kenny, Ernie, the whole inside crew is rolling in with him. This ain't just a signing, this is a takeover. And just when you think it can't get crazier, a leaked audio clip hits the web. Allegedly, Shaq is on tape telling a fixer, "Find me something on Shannon, the real stuff." Then suddenly, that lawsuit drops. Shannon's public image nosedives, and ESPN starts quietly phasing him out. Coincidence? You tell me. Charles Barkley calls ESPN out. He gets more screen time. Shannon Sharpe gets tied to controversy. He gets shoved aside. You seeing the pattern? The internet is, and the comments are brutal. Chuck's real. Chuck's clean. Chuck earned it. Shannon fumbled his bag. Jealousy got him slipping. Ouch. Here's the play. ESPN isn't trying to clean up the mess. They're monetizing it. Controversy equals clicks. Clicks equals cash. So while Sharpe and Barkley beef, ESPN's counting views and stacking ad revenue.
He said the Lakers, first of all, the Lakers have had a great 2 weeks. He said the Lakers saved the NBA season. That's because them fools on the other network, which we're going to be working for next year, that's all they talk about.
Let's be honest, Shannon's not out yet. He's still got fans, still got influence, but this isn't the time for defense. If he doesn't pivot fast, this could be the beginning of the end, or he pulls a media comeback. The Joe Budden way, independent, loud, unfiltered. But that ESPN bag, it's slipping hard. So here's the real question. Was Shannon plotting behind the scenes? Or just a victim of his own bad press? Did Barkley outplay the system? Or did ESPN choose chaos over character? And is it too late for Sharpe to bounce back? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I know this one's gonna stir debate. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive. Because in today's media game, one slip and it's game over.